the husband and wife is to take care of the child. Child care. During Sunnyside, I did hear a lot of interesting comments on taking care of the home. Whose responsibility is it? Is it the husband or is it the wife? And I sort of loved the different responses, and it appears things are changing a lot, and a lot having to do with culture and exposure and what people have considered to be their roles in the taking care of the home. But this time in Glass Ceiling, it will be with whose responsibility is it for child care? Husband, wife, or both of them? You can listen again and hear that episode of the Glass Ceiling. At the top of the hour at 5 p.m., we'll have the news, the business news at 4. And then we'll also have a discussion. It's the 7th year we're marking the Chibok abduction, a watershed event in the country's history where 273 girls were abducted. And we'll be speaking with the co-founder of the Bring Back Our Girls group to find out just what has happened after then. Abductions have now become commonplace. Attacks on schools have continued. So watch out for that discussion we're going to be having at 5 with the co-founder of the Bring Back Our Girls group. So if you're ready, I will say that you're also ready. I will say that I am also ready. So let's go.
This is the Big Three.
The Big Three.
On Hard Facts. On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Okie dokie. So let's begin with the lawmaker. The lawmaker from Gambia who stirred the honest nest. The honest nest today. Fatmata Njai. She said that the ECOWAS Parliament can achieve 30% representation of women in Parliament only if it rejects nominations from countries not meeting the criteria. Njai expressed this thought while speaking with journalists during the 5th Legislature's delocalized meeting of the ECOWAS Parliament, which is holding in Monrovia. And it's the theme, empowerment of women in the ECOWAS region. She says it's pertinent to note that some countries lacked female representation in the Conference of Bureau in the ECOWAS Parliament, a trend which she said was a disregard of the ECOWAS rules of procedure. The rules of procedure mention that each member country should have a female representation at the Conference of Bureau. Each country has 3 members in the Conference of each Bureau, so at least each country can at least have 1 member which is a woman. But unfortunately, a large chunk of the 16-member ECOWAS countries did not send any woman as part of their delegation. And she thought the easiest thing would have been to send them back home. But, it's representative of what has actually happened in the parliament of many West African countries. Nigeria inclusive, where you have very few women. The last time we checked, it's reduced from in 2015, where you had about 9% of women to 4% of women at the National Assembly. It's even worse at the State Assembly. You have some states in the country where there are no women at all in representation at Parliament. And the question has often been asked that if you have more than 50% of the population across many West African countries, including Nigeria, to be women, and you don't have a commensurate representation in Parliament, what does it say about the participation of women in the decision-making process in the politics? And what is the quality of the decisions that have been made? Can we say for it to be inclusive, or we say that it hasn't come up to what it should be? So that's a big question. Now, the Gambian lawmaker continued this very interesting interview she had in the Liberian capital of Monrovia. She says, to create a level playing field for all genders in order to be able to address the question of why women are not winning elections. When I first joined the ECOWAS Parliament, we were 25 in number. We have lost some of the women, and I think now we are 18 in number, which is something that should be addressed. Why are women losing elections, and why are countries not sending 30% as stipulated and is required from them by ECOWAS? I think that if countries send a list that is short of 30%, ECOWAS should reject that list. And as it goes on and on, and it's such a big, question about what to do when you have a situation where you have institutions like the ECOWAS Parliament, which has lots of its usefulness in saying if a member country, for example, isn't going to stick by its rule, which is 1 in 3 for just the conference, and even for the Parliament, as pointed out by the Gambian lawmaker, you have just 25, which is far less than a quarter of the entire members of the Parliament in ECOWAS, and urging for something to be done. What do you think should be done to get women in Parliament across the West African sub-region, and importantly Nigeria? Let's start with home. What should we do? So those of us who are arguing many times that you put up a quota and see if it will work, see that it even fails at the sub-region where you have the Parliament, and that hasn't happened. If we should actually demand it or grab it ourselves. So I don't see that as a problem. When she was asked the question whether women should sit down, fold their hands, and wait until they're given the ball to play. If a woman wants to run for office, it is the same women that will refuse to vote for them. And for us, being in the majority, why should that happen? We should vote for our fellow women and be at a table where the men are. And it's the debate that continues to rage in terms of the participation of women in politics, the Parliament as well as executive, as we run up to the 2023 general elections. I'd love to hear from you on what you think should be the approach, radical approach, in deciding what to make of this. All right, we are going to look at another story, the second story on the Big Three today. I want to say I can run through those stories so I can engage with you as much as possible during the course of the Hot Facts today. UNICEF, and we're back to the vaccination discussion. The United Nations Children's Fund has asked and urged that those who receive the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, which is the AstraZeneca, which is the vaccine which was Nigeria's received in the COVAX and the Gavi arrangement, should take a second dose for stronger immunity against the virus. And Elizabeth Onotolo, who is the UNICEF's communication for development specialist, was in Yola, and she was talking with journalists about what they need to do, saying that those who have been vaccinated observe the protocols to safeguard other people from the virus. There's need for people to get vaccinated and continue to abide by the protocol to curtail the spread of the virus. Here's a quote from another member of that of this conference that happened in the Adamawa State capital, Lilian Okeke. Our concern is to save lives. You need to take those preventive measures to save your life and others. Save your life and others. And joined with this story also to something I've been thinking along those who should take the lead roles and whether they've been doing enough to encourage citizens to take the COVID-19 vaccine. And outline the ones who have been pointed out by UNICEF and many stakeholders include the governors, the lawmakers, traditional rulers, religious leaders, market leaders, health workers, as well as others. We need COVID-19 vaccine to stop this pandemic. Vaccines work with the immune system, and that is why we need to be vaccinated. It's the message that we need to hear as often as possible to get us back to where we need to be, especially now that we know that there is the possibility to get the herd immunity up because of the vaccine. UNICEF's quoted as saying here that the widespread use of the vaccine can reduce the spread in the community and chances of a new variant coming up. It also perhaps reduce the chances of lockdown. So you can see all across Europe, You're seeing a third wave. You're seeing the lockdown happening in Central America, in Brazil. And so it's not yet to huru. It means that there's a lot that still needs to be done. The things that we did in the first instance, we combined that with the vaccine rollout and patiently wait for our turn to get vaccinated. We most likely will be out of the woods faster than people can imagine. So what are you doing to spread the message in your own little role? What are you doing to let people know about the COVID-19 vaccine? I know many people will call and tell me and ask me the question whether is there still COVID-19 in town, because you see people moving around without their face mask. But it's still in town, and I'd love to find out from you in what ways you're helping to propagate the message about the vaccine, because that is our safety net right now and where we are all heading. Would you want to hear more from the government and from the agencies which have been mandated to make the information out, and you're going to assess them? You think they've done enough? What about the religious leaders and the traditional rulers? Are you impressed, or are you frustrated with the double speak sometimes you hear from them? 0700 993 993 993. WhatsApp 0809 597 5805. And by the way, yesterday I remember we had when we had Henrietta Yakubu, the GM Corporate Affairs for the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria. She put out some information saying that if you saw any corruption going on in the airport, you can make a report to it, and it will be dealt with as quickly as possible. So I'm going to get. I'm trying to see if I have. Excellent. So we have. She's done what exactly she said she'll do. There's a number for you if you. Many of you are still so asked questions about if you were extorted at the airport. So there's a tweet which has been put out now by the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria. It's a number and it's a message. If you experience any form of extortion at the airport, the number for you to call is 090 853 2222. That's 2 in 5 places. Again, 090 853 and then 22222. 2 in 5 places. There's an email, fananticorruption@fan.gov.ng. Again, fananticorruption@fan.gov.ng. So the numbers you gave yesterday, you can discard that and stick with this number again, 090 853 then 22222. You can also go to the Twitter handle of FAN. You have the same information put out there saying FAN is against any form of extortion. By the way, the people of Port Harcourt, I'm sure, can heave a huge sigh of relief because the international airport in Port Harcourt has been opened. All right, I can get to the phone lines now. 0700 993 993 993. Let's hear what you have to say. Women, can we lead? Can we lead in West Africa? Women in Parliament at the federal level, at the state level, and teach the rest of West Africa something on how governance can happen. But so far, we haven't done that yet. We've joined the bad guys also to not even sticking with the policy in terms of a simple conference. You have men attending when you said you would have 30% representation for every conference you have within the ECOWAS Parliament. Kenny is writing from Akute on WhatsApp. He says, Nigeria should be in the forefront of policy making in Africa. Whatever decisions Nigeria take should be emulated by the rest of Africa. So if Nigeria should raise the bar of women participation in politics, other countries follow suit, and not the other way around, which I agree with you absolutely. Not the other way around. I've had to go around halfway through the console to get to you guys on the phone line. Keep the the calls coming in, 0700 993 993. Let me see if I can take in one call before we go on a quick break And then we'll come to the police not taking bribe story. Maybe lessons are now being learned. Peter is in Shomolu and joins us this afternoon. Hello, Peter.
Oh, Mr. Aho, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm brilliant. And you?
I'm fine, by God's grace.
All right, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I want to respond to the first item, which was the percentage of the women in politics.
Exactly.
I mean, especially in the houses of assemblies, whether state or federal.
Good.
I don't want to join the school of thought that always talk about let the women struggle. They should not wait to get their quota on a platter of gold. I don't want to go that way. Otherwise, I would have mentioned things. But I want to reason from this angle that we don't really encourage the women by leveling the playing ground and also by making the ground conducive for women to actually go into politics. Let me tell you that if I were a woman, what happened in Kogi State the other time, where a PDP woman leader was burnt along with her building inside the house. And at the end of the day, that election was still upheld and a winner was declared. That is enough to demoralize women. That is enough to scare women from politics, because I would have thought that for us to encourage the women to go into politics, that might not be a case in isolation. There might have been others, but I'm just spotting out that one. What I would have done so that I can encourage women to go into politics, that election would have been cancelled, the perpetrators would have been fished out, and they should have been punished according to the law, accordingly. So that women would now say, yes, if anything happened to us, then we have the law that will stand by us. And there are so many other things that discourage women. So what I'm saying in a nutshell is that we are not really encouraging the women. In fact, you have the leader of the country telling you that women belong to the other room, belong to the kitchen. So that does not encourage women. I want Nigerian men to know that actually we have to provide a level playing ground and a conducive playing ground. Then women, I believe, will go into politics.
All right.
And can I say one thing finally?
I would have to let you go because we have to go on an ad break. But thank you very much for your great comments, Peter. We come back after this. Please stay with us on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Hey Ali, how are you?
I'm tired, Shadi. My bank is bashing my head with charges.
Have I not shown you how to break free from sufferhead banking?
Is it that kudo something?
Kuda, Ali. It's Kuda.
That one, Kuda. Are they even safe?
Hey, wait till I start. They don't charge me account or card maintenance fees.
My bank has even charged for a debit card I don't have.
My Kuda card was free and delivered to my house free. I have never paid a naira for owning this card.
What about transfers?
Kuda will give you 25 free transfers to other banks every single month for the rest of your life.
You're right, Sha. Shadi. Is your hotspot on?
Better use your own data.
Kuda Microfinance Bank gives you an account with free transfers, a free card, and zero ridiculous fees. Break free now. Get Kuda on Google Play or the App Store now and open a full bank account in a few minutes. Kuda, the bank of the free.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
Your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
This is the Big Three.
The Big Three on Hard Facts.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, welcome back. It's 28 minutes past 3, and I'm sure that wherever you are, you're making slow but steady progress home from work, or if you're just about wrapping up the day's business, it'd be good for you to also tune in to have an idea of what is going on in town. And the number one place for you to be in is the number one talk news and sports station, 99.3 Nigeria Info. So, we've talked about the Parliament dilemma where women are poorly represented, not just in Nigeria, but across the entire West Africa. People have put out messages saying Nigeria should lead by example. If we get it right here, the entire West African sub-region most likely will get it right. And just as the calls were coming away on the break, I also thought about it. As we talk about restructuring our minds, restructuring the politics, restructuring the geography, whatever restructuring means, we also must take into consideration many of the things which don't actually make it right. So, for example, if women, you have 5%, 4% of women in the political space, in elected office, National Assembly, executive is even worse off, whether it's for governors or deputy governors. It means that also needs to be thought about in a way of restructuring too. The same way you're thinking about geographical or political restructuring and how it happens. All of this talks about inclusivity and shows, a level playing ground and a true picture of what it is rather than skewed in many instances and how things have happened in the country's politics. The third story I'm going to go, I'm tempted to do this so that when the lines are opened, you will have the opportunity to talk about any of the three stories we have up for discussion on the big three. The third story, police no they take bribe. What's that? What's that his name again? African China. Police no they take bribe. Looks like police no they take bribe song was heard by these officers, men of the police, who decided not to take a 500,000 naira bribe that was offered to them during an operation, and then arrested the suspects with stolen construction materials. It's Biwa Dejobi, the Lagos State Police spokesperson yesterday, who put out that statement saying that these policemen who were attached to Area E Command in Festac accosted 5 men with stolen construction material belonging to China Construction Engineering Company at midnight on Sunday. And there are pictures of the stolen van also recovered from the suspect. The suspects allegedly had this stuff with them. They got into the vehicle. They had about 25. They had several 25mm iron rods. They then were about to proceed when the policemen stopped them. It's about 3 a.m., the early hours of the morning. How is it the ungodly hour? Huh? And then they tried to make their way, where there was no way, by offering this policeman 500,000 naira. Policeman said, no, we're not taking this money. And then said, come along with us. And the gentlemen who've been arrested, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them in all, their ages ranging between 34 and 43, I see here. And the Chinese company in question has been contacted by the police, and the items which were stolen from them have also been identified. Talk about this interesting story, huh? What do you think about it? Police not taking bribe. This shouldn't be news, but I haven't seen this in a long while. The one I hear oftentimes has been the one where the police did find money in an accident scene, for example, or someone left his money in some place, and then the police returns the money to the owner. That's the one I've seen more often than not. But this one, refusing to accept bribe in the process of a crime being committed, is a new one. And tell me what you think. Have you been in a situation where you've tried to make a plan, is what they say, bend the law to suit your purpose, and the policeman said, no, I will not take this bribe. So it's a twist on the popular narrative, which oftentimes has been that the police has asked me to pay a bribe before a particular service will be offered. So I'd love to hear from you what you have to say about that. The UNODC and the NVS did a survey some years ago where 97% of Nigerians who were asked the question whether they had paid a bribe to the police said yes, they did. They did because they said that if they paid the bribe, it will make the process of the service they were seeking to get happen quickly, and they couldn't go through the stress of having to go through the bureaucracy bottlenecks to make things happen. And then 3% said no, they wouldn't pay. Here's that the 3% finally. I'd asked then, I want to see those 3%. Here's the 3% have shown up on the side of the police quicker for me. 0700 993 993 993. Call us and tell us what you think about any of these three stories we're talking about today. On WhatsApp, it's 0809 597 5805. Again, 0809 597 5805. Let me get on WhatsApp and see what you have to say before I get back on. Before I get back on the phone lines. Ibinabo is in Ogba. Hello, Ibinabo, and good afternoon.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm brilliant. And you?
Yeah, I'm doing real good after spending about 4 hours in traffic.
It's well.
Yeah, speaking about police bribe and all of that. Okay, personally, I have this to say.
Go ahead.
One, it was wrong for those guys to have stolen those things.
Good.
Two, let me speak as a policeman. I may have had knowledge of how much those things will cost in the market. And I feel 500,000 naira is too small a bribe for me to collect based on how much those guys are going to make as profit or after they've sold those things. So I may have demanded for something more than 500,000, which they are not willing to give me. So I go ahead and expose them.
Right.
What do you think?
Ibinabo, when you said, let me speak as a policeman, I was going to say, Ibinabo, a policeman. But then when you went in with this, your theory, I said you should have clarified, let me speak as a rogue policeman.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so...
okay, like yesterday, I had an encounter with some guys on the road, like customs. I was taking a car to Delta State, and when they checked the duty that was paid on the car, they were like, it was underpaid.
Okay.
And I needed to pay a certain amount of money. That if I don't pay that, it's either they take me to their office in Lagos and all of that. So we had to argue. At the end of the day, we reached a compromise. I gave them what I wanted, and I left. So that is exactly the scenario I'm trying to paint here. The policemen and those guys may have done a negotiation, and at the end of the day, they could not reach a compromise. And the guy felt like, well, since you guys are not ready to meet my requirements, I don't have no choice than to turn you in.
All right, Ibinabo, thank you very much. Let's hear what the others have to say about this interesting analogy. It reminds me of the Holy Writ, where they say, can anything good come out of Nazareth? Can anything good come out from the police? You'd be surprised that things are changing for the better, maybe, you know. Don is in Sabo Yaba. Great to have you, Don, join us on the Big Three.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Good afternoon.
That's a good one for the police. But I just beg to differ from what the Binabo said.
Right.
I don't think that those men will offer up to 500,000 naira. And looking at what they even took, I doubt it. In as much as I know that they stole those things from the Chinese company, they can never, for all I know very well, they cannot offer 500,000 naira. They will never offer up to 500,000 naira to those police. I'm telling you honestly, I beg to differ from what Ibinabo said with due respect. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Don. Interesting debate going on here. Well, it's the cost that people in the police force will have to bear, the good guys, because of what a few bad eggs have done has tarnished the image, and then they're now faced with this sort of situation where, just like Nigerians have to explain over and over to people in other countries, not every Nigerian is a Yahoo boy, or not every Nigerian is involved in drugs or trafficking. It's the same way that the police will have to over and over again say that the majority of the men and officers of the Nigerian police are good people. Anonymous, thank you for joining us on the.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, good afternoon. And you say you want to be anonymous?
Yeah.
It means you want to leak something big, huh?
Yes. About the police and Bible stuff.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, those boys. The boy that wear polo is my friend.
Oh.
And the one that wear Ankara also, I know him. They didn't give them bribe. Those police asked for 500,000, which they didn't have. That's why they exposed them.
How do you know this?
That guy that wears that polo, Taufik, is my friend. He called me that midnight on Sunday that they were arrested, that they are told to bring 500,000, which they didn't have. That's why they were transferred to.
So of the five, you know which of them? You say you know Taufik.
Huh?
You said you know a number of the suspects that were arrested. You said you know some of them. Which of them you say you know? Taufik and who again?
Taufik, that guy that wear polo.
Okay.
Yes, it's my childhood friend. I know him very well. I'm even surprised that. Hello.
Yeah, we're with you. Go ahead.
I'm even surprised when I see that on the paper that police said they should pay 500,000 bribe. I say, nah, lie. It's a big lie.
But you know they took the property. Yeah, but you know they took the property from the Chinese firm.
I don't even know that they go and steal it. I don't know.
He just called you and said, I need 500,000 naira.
No. He called me that he went to buy market.
Right.
And they were caught. That's what he said. That guy said, iron rod. I know him very well.
Okay.
So he called me in the midnight that he went to buy market and he was arrested. That the police said he should bring 500,000. I said, wow, for what? He even called me on video call that night. So all the police are saying it's a big lie.
All right. Thank you very much, Anonymous. And let me just say you're fortunate enough not to have. Otherwise, they say, what's that thing they say in crime? Accessory after the fact is what probably you would have landed in. But interesting phone call there. What do you think? This story of the police rejecting a bribe, the statement put out by the Lagos State Police Command saying that they had offered the bribe and it was rejected, and then they were arrested. The items were taken to the Chinese China Construction Engineering Company, who identified the stolen items as their property. That's what the police said, and then returned to them. And those 5 gentlemen will face charge. And we just got an anonymous caller here saying that may not have been exactly as it was reported. But Lucky is in Banana Island. Hello, Lucky, and good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing now?
I'm brilliant, Lucky.
Yeah, I don't want to talk much here. That last caller, I believe in. You know what I believe in? There is no police who will give 500K when we accept her. Sure. So I believe what the guy said. Maybe they were billing 500,000 naira, and the guy not get that money. That's why the matter blew up. So I believe the last guy. I beg. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Lucky. Well, maybe this would be a great time we had that body cam. You know, if we had the body cam and this whole thing was played out, we probably would go back to the body cam, which the Lagos State government is very interested in having for security operatives to know what exactly played out with this gentleman. The questions the investigators will most likely want to find out. 500,000 naira. But there are other stories also we want you to talk about as a COVID-19 story. Take the second jab. That's what UNICEF says. And they want the stakeholders to get involved in the discussions also too. And then women in parliament. The numbers aren't good. And people are very concerned that the things written in the codex of the law haven't been even followed by the members of ECOWAS. Hello and good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Shaku Maku.
Hey, Makushi Mak. I see you're
Shaku
calling in
Maku.
from Ijegun Mak. Great to have you join us.
Mark Father from Ijegun, yes.
Great.
Shaku Maku, you see that story. Don't believe that cock and bull story. Why did I say that?
Tell me why.
Are you hearing me?
We're with you.
I know there could be some bad eggs in the police, but I tell you, there are a chunk of good policemen in our present day Nigeria. Another thing I am saying, please, on record, check.
Right.
If it is true that they were bribed with that 500,000 naira, they would have collected the money, and the money would serve as exhibit against those people. This is my take.
Right.
You understand me?
Right, Mark. Yeah, we hear you, Mark.
Sir?
Yeah, very true. Because I'm looking at the police parade where this happens. We see the boss, we see the iron rods, but there is no evidence that any money.
Thank you very much. They would have collected the money. The money would have served as exhibits against those people. I have worked with the police before I retired for a very long time. Please, don't believe that cock and bull story. Thank you very much. Shaku Maku.
Hey, Makushi Mak. And I see the growing voice of this belief, but a great point he makes. They should have collected the money or some sign to show that the money had been changed and then back. I remember very well years ago when I interviewed the former chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Nuhu Ribad. I said, look, young man, James Ibori, governor of Delta State then, said, look, how much are you worth? You give me too much trouble. And he said, just to understand just what he meant by that, he said, what do you mean? And he said, what if I told you I will give you XYZ amount of money? And Nuhu Ribadu said, bring it along, let me see. And he said, the former governor of Delta State went down, he picked up a suitcase and brought it back to Nuhu Ribadu. Nuhu Ribadu said he opened the suitcase and it was there, and lo and behold, $50 million. He said, my friend, I said, thank you very much. He closed the suitcase and took that money to the Central Bank of Nigeria. Chukwuma Soludo was the governor of Central Bank and did bear witness that $15 million was returned by the EFCC. And then Nuhu Ribadu said, this money was given to me by James Ibori. And then that money was put and lodged as evidence in the case the government then filed against the former governor of Delta State. So, Mark, I understand exactly what you say. The money should have been collected and then used as evidence. Hello and good afternoon. All right, that isn't going through. There's the female alternative line. Would also love you to call. It's 01465 7190. Again, 01465 7190. 3 stories. Take the second jab. It will improve the immunity. It's our safety net against the COVID-19 variants, and it will keep us safe and help us get out of the woods as quickly as possible. United Nations Children Fund speaking. And then the other one with women in parliament. We want to see more women in government. How are we going to go about it before the 2023 general elections to make it really count? And then this story, a lot of you are calling incredible story about police refusing 500,000 naira bribe. Many of you picking holes in the story, which the policemen in Area E in Festac Town decided not to take. 0700 993 993 993. Imakon David writes on Twitter. He says, are you joking about the police report on April Fool? Because you cannot give dog meat to keep for you. Nigeria police can never refuse 500,000 naira. No, it's not a joke. It's a real. I have the statement which was sent to us then, covered by us, the police spokesperson in Lagos State, Muyiwa Dejobi, who talked about this. Let's see if I can get any call through. Sorry about that. To try a call back, lines buzzing everywhere. Hello and good afternoon.
Hi.
Good. Great. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
Hi, my name is Ugo, calling you from Lekki.
All right, Ugo from Lekki. Great to have you join us. Which of the stories do you want to talk about?
The interesting one on the Nigerian police.
Everyone is going for the Nigeria police. All right.
I grew up in Festac Town.
Okie dokie. Where in Festac did you grow up in?
From the report so far, here is Festac Division. These guys, I beg to differ. Someone called and said, worked for the police force and retired. My daddy is a retired police officer. So the era of those very genuine, sincere policemen are all gone. Festac Town, I don't go to visit my mom anymore. Because if I do, I try to take a taxi because policemen there are something else. They follow you to ATM. You know, if you have any, because I had issues with my papers, and they follow you to ATM to collect the money from you. So it's not the case of offering 500,000 and they refund it. If it was somewhere else, okay, I would think about it. But when I heard Festac, I just busted into laughter. It's not that's my own view, and I think I have a right to it. I think it is not possible for
me. I'm a Festac boy too. I grew up in Festac too. You know, attended.
Very good. So you can deal with my story. All those bandits, 419 boys and everything.
Well, the Festac I knew then is no longer the Festac of today, so I'm not too sure.
Exactly, it's all gone. It's all gone. It's all randy. It's all disorganized. They stay awake till the next. They don't even sleep. They stay awake. They have so many nightclubs. So the nightclubs. So policemen have a peace in Festac Town. So it's very strange to hear that people stole and then they offered 500K. So someone called and said, I think it's your second caller gave another idea. He said, or maybe the police asked for something that they couldn't meet 500. It's kind of like tailors to what the guy said that called and said he asked for 500. So it's always something. And then we are expected to know at least the Chinese friend was stolen from, you know, have them confirm the news. You know, Nigerian police, when they want to catch you, they catch you very well. So this one just sounded too quick to be true. You know, but all the same, they are trying to do, I just interpret it as a PR stunt, you know, just trying to reclaim the voice of the police and their image, which is really good. And I pray for Nigerian police force that they all improve and get where we want them to. But this one,
Amen. Thank you very much, Ugo, and do call as much as possible and go see Mama in Festac. The Festac police in Area E appear to be the standout star boy policemen for today for rejecting a bribe of 500,000 naira. Not me who said it. They said it, the police, and people. I'm not exactly sure whether this is true or not, but it is according to what they say. This is on WhatsApp. Let's see who you are. Olaide Cruz says that Shakumaku, Makushi to you. Nigeria is a bad example of leadership in Africa because of the position we left women in our society. African continent look up to Nigeria as a leader to develop a legacy for African development, but our leaders, dishonest individuals and professional manipulators in politics. So fairness of allowing healthy playing field for women does not exist. So Nigeria, because of selfish ideas of politics of I must be there by deceiving public and force others to bow down. This is why even in Africa we have lost our identity as a nation that can lay good examples for women's participation in government. Thank you very much, Olaide Cruz in Victoria Island. Hi, Shakumaku, Makushi to you, Dozier. Those guys being accused by the police for giving bribe should get a good lawyer. Since there is no evidence of the so-called 500,000 naira bribe, an unbiased judge will throw the case out through the window afterwards. Those guys sue the police for parading them without evidence and defaming them, says Dozier. Dozier is a lawyer. Okay. This one. Women have been given opportunity in the past, but they have failed to prove themselves. No need to mention names. All of us knew them. Some are an EFCC track record. Second, the Kogi incident where a woman was burnt alive and nothing happened. Till then, even after then, people in power never said anything about it because they need power at all costs. They got away with it. Police refusing to take bribes because the money they demanded was not enough. We know some Nigerian police that culprits had given them what they demanded. Nobody will hear about it. Mac Andy. Jane from Iba says, police not receiving bribe is not a big deal. I hear you. Okay. Please do justice to us on Facebook. Please, can we watch the video on Facebook? People are writing you there. Yay. I'm going to do something about that, I promise you, sir. I just forgot about the Facebook people. Oh, no. Anonymous. Hello and good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good. You have 1 minute because we're out of time.
Well, let me quickly contribute to the issue of police.
Please do.
Nigerian police are not honest. It is a lie. I want to tell you, this matter happened precisely 4 years ago in our two police posts. Okay. Two of my friends, they were working together with Nigel. Somebody came overnight to remove cable on the ground, and they cut the took them to police station. On their way going, you were asking, what happened? They said, we caught these people. They were stealing cable. We're beating them. Okay. No. A friend of mine said, let's take them to police station. On our way going to police station, they were begging us with 500,000. And so one of us said, no. We must take them to police station.
Right.
You know, when we went back to the police station, the following day, the policeman on duty said the guy escaped from the cell. Can you imagine? That is number one. Number two, concerning police, Festac area police station.
Okay, I'm going to ask you, Anonymous, to hold your thoughts for about 45 seconds, and then I'm going to come back to you, and then you wrap up on this one, please.
All right.
We'll take a quick break, and we come back, and then we'll continue this very interesting conversation.
.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
I am Simone Cipriani.
And I'm Claire Press.
You are listening to the Ethical Fashion Podcast.
Get ready for another season of the EFI podcast series.
Change starts at the grassroots level from the collective efforts of people.
This Friday at 12:15 to 1 p.m. This series will explore topics relevant today more than ever.
The systems that we live in are operating with 100% efficiency.
Through the voice of African creatives and leaders. Hosted by Simone Cipriani and Claire Press, the series explores issues driving the conversation around ethical fashion. The discussions featuring African leaders and creatives range from female power and wildlife conservation to African entrepreneurship. Right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, I've had to go reset the clock for you. Are you still there, sir, Anonymous?
Yeah, I'm still there.
All right, great. So you have 2 minutes more, thankfully, so you can make your comments. Go ahead.
On the area of Festac is now new at Ajegunle. Festac is no more Festac 77 anymore.
They
live at Ajegunle live there.
You know
what is happening there.
A lot of the inhabitants of Festac, when they came in 77, many of them came from Ajegunle too. You know that, right?
I know that, but the lifestyle is different from what at least what we experienced when Festac 77 was established.
All right, go ahead.
So I'm now.
Anonymous.
The way things are going on in that area, I don't think any police can be, approached with 500,000 naira for the RCC and another. I don't believe in it.
All right, thank you very much, and I'll leave it at that. I think I can go to Facebook. I heard got several comments there. I hope I can steal some of those comments. Apologies that I missed you guys out. All right, this is. Someone said, where's Sandra? Sandra is on leave. She'll be in hopefully by next week. Can we see the video? Festac police no fit refuse money. Emmanuel Chikere, I see you there too. Can we see the video? So they got pictures of the iron rods and then the boss, but there's no picture of money collected, which is what we're trying to point out. So maybe it was money transferred, or were they going to transfer it via electronic means? That's another thing entirely. Okay. All right. So on WhatsApp, John is from Ikeja. He says he wants to comment on who takes care of the home. All right, that's going to be at the top of the hour during glass ceiling, and the place of the woman in the kitchen. So you'll have the opportunity to do that, even though it's a recorded one. Can you play video for us before you end the show? So it's not a video, it's a press statement, and then you have a picture of the rods and then the vehicle that was used to convey the stolen items, and then the names of the people who were picked up, the pictures of the people who were apprehended also too. You recollect the anonymous caller who mentioned one of the names of those who was, and he's right, one of them is named Taufik. The others are Where, Aziz, Motayo, and Lawal. So there's information for you like that. So they put up the picture of the rods and then the picture of the people who were, even though, if someone hasn't been found guilty of a crime and all of that, this idea of parading suspect, I'm vehemently against it. Why would you put someone up there If you are suspecting him to be a criminal of a crime, let him go to court, and then if he's found guilty, let him face the time, and if he's not, let him be acquitted. This media trial we often do and put people out there and begin to ask them questions like they were in a public court. Simply, I still haven't been able to wrap my head around how that works. So that's it on the Big Three. Fantastic discussion we have. We're going to have the glass at the top of the hour. Then don't forget, 7 years after Chibok, what have we learnt and where are we today? We have a discussion at 5 on the Big Hat Fact with co-founder of the Bring Back Our Girls. 99.3 Nigeria Info, let's talk.
You should always sit down to talk about issues. We always run away from that. Don't let anybody who is in any business with you, don't let him second guess you.
Our governors are not thinking. We don't even have local government chairmen, so not to talk of the ones that would think. You have lawmakers who are insisting that these laws will be obeyed.
99.3